So thank you everyone for joining us. Today we are here for our British Better Business program with Innovation Guelph. My name's Angie. I'm the program coordinator for the Business Center Guelph-Wellington, and I would like to invite you all to come listen. So hi, Linda. Linda Horowitz is our guest today. She is a program manager at Innovation Guelph. So I will pass it over to you. So hi, Linda.
Right. Thank you, Angela. Thank you so much, and really appreciate being here and being able to share this information with everybody who's in the program. It's exciting. So I'm going to just share my screen and take you through who Innovation Guelph is and the kind of programs that we offer. There you go. And I'm going to assume everybody can see this, hands up, thumbs up, we're all good. So again, an introduction to Innovation Guelph, we affectionately call IG. So who are we? We are one of 17 regional innovation centers in Ontario. And we offer entrepreneur education, hands-on mentorship, workshops, events, co-working space, networking, but mainly we help innovative, scalable companies start, grow, and thrive. Excuse me. So at Innovation Guelph, we serve as a hub where businesses and communities converge, collaborate, and cross-pollinate. And as I mentioned, we do it through our programming and events. And we help companies that are really from startups, from pre-revenue startups, and small, medium-sized enterprises to take their businesses to the next level. So innovation has a very agile approach, and we change on the fly to support our companies, and you'll see how that has occurred through our different programming as I go through it. But we are also the proud recipients of the University of Guelph Gordon S. Lang's He for She Impact Award for our ongoing commitment to gender equity through our RISE programming, which I'll explain a little bit later, for women entrepreneurs, including Rise Up and Rise Ventures. We are also proud recipients of the National Enterprise Support of the Year Canny Award and the Ontario Enterprise Support Canny Award from the Innovators and Entrepreneurs Foundation for advancing Canadian entrepreneurship through leadership and impact. So that was quite a nice award that we had gotten, I think it was last year. Have a little difficulty with time sometimes. I don't know about you, over COVID time. Was it last year or was it last month? It's kind of interesting. So we also have an extensive roster of experienced staff, industry specialists and mentors who have expertise and experience to support our companies. And that really makes the difference in terms of how we are able to support our companies. This just gives you a view of how we focus our programs. This was information basically from our fiscal year end, which was March 31st, 2021. So in the last 10 years, and we've just celebrated our 10th anniversary this year, we've supported over 1,300 businesses from startup to scale up. And each year in that scale up realm, we support 70 plus companies, some of them over $1 million. We focus on serving innovative, scalable businesses under 4 main sectors. So one is agri-innovation, and we call it agri-innovation. What falls under that are agriculture producers, ag processors, food companies, but also it covers people who are working with, let's say, nanotechnology. So, nanoparticles and sweet corn that can be a drug delivery system. We have a company that we worked with that actually did that, and also robotics or anything around ag. So that's agri-innovation. We also work, of course, with information technology and communication, advanced manufacturing, and clean tech. Now, those are the 4 main sectors we work with. Of course, we work with companies and organizations that are outside of those sectors, but those are the 4 key sectors we work with. I talked a little bit about RISE, and we'll get into it a little, again, a little further down in the presentation, but we are really moving the needle on women in business and the gender equity. So as of our fiscal year end, we found that of all the companies that we supported in that fiscal year, 56% were women-founded, co-founded, or led companies. And we say led because when you get into multi-million-dollar companies, they can be in the C-suite. But we're quite proud of this effort and being able to support women entrepreneurs and those that identify as well. So our team, we have very experienced staff and mentorship. We like to have we have a roster of over 50 mentors and industry specialists that we manage that are contracted to us as contractors that work with us in mentorship and project implementation, which you'll hear a little more about as well. So this just gives you an example of some of the categories that the experience is in. So marketing, communications, operations, strategic development, sales, HR, leadership and culture, finance, and more. And the people that we work with, some are generalists who are like serial entrepreneurs themselves and have experience in different sectors and skill sets. And some are also very specific in the skill set that they have. So I'll get into a little bit about our programming. Just as information, Innovation Guelph overall, we have certain prerequisites for coming into Innovation Guelph. One is that you have to be working a minimum of 20 hours a week in the business. You have to have a business plan or model canvas, a business model canvas already crafted or drafted. You have to be a scalable business or idea. For our startup program, you have to be under $1 million in revenue. So it could be pre-revenue to $1 million or over $1 million in our scaling SME program. Have to be incorporated and it was particularly for the majority of our programs, they have to be incorporated in Ontario. And you can't be a purely local business or service provider. And I'll explain a little bit more about that afterwards. Angela, can you hear me? Okay. I've got some background noise going on, so I apologize for that.
Hear you. No problem.
Yeah, okay. So I'll talk a little bit first about our core programming. So the core programming in Innovation Guelph to accelerate your business are with coaching and education are our startup program and our Fastlane program. So we'll talk about our startup program first. A startup program is for qualified startups and early stage companies. Again, early stage, but have to be ready to commercialize. So not to come in for a business plan. That's why we work very closely with the business center because that's where you would be going to get that support. But once you've graduated from the business center, we're ready to support you in the commercialization of products and services. So what in the startup program, again, the eligibility is as we had mentioned, it have to be incorporated in Ontario, has to be scalable under $1 million in revenue, and can't be a solopreneur or a retail outlet, and even then there's a little caveat. So I'll tell you a little bit about that, but for one program, but it has to be, you have to be willing to scale. So we like to take a look at the retail as an example, just as retail. So being a storefront retail operator would not qualify you to be in the startup program. But if you wanted to franchise that retail outlet, that's a whole other story. So that's kind of how we look at it. But also we don't necessarily work with pure service like real estate agents, finance, investment companies, that kind of thing. And if you're interested, applications are on our website. You just go to innovationguelph.ca, go to programs, look for startup, and you can apply on the website. So what do you get for the level 1 startup? This is a fully funded 12-month educational and networking program. You get monthly group sessions with rotating topics, and they are really very interesting topics, and a chance to network with other businesses as well. Access to educational resources through Innovation Guelph or MARS, a MARS Center, if you've heard about the MARS Center, which includes access to strategic reports, business templates, online toolkits, and more that are all available at free or very, very little cost, if at all. You also get introductions to trusted professionals, Innovation Guelph workshops and events and networking, and the use of our co-working space. And we do have co-working space at Innovation Guelph. So if anybody's interested in that, we can send you to the right person to talk about that. I should say at the end of that, you can either graduate to level 2, or you can become an alumni of Innovation Guelph. We don't let go of our clients that easily. So you become an alumni, we still communicate with you and take advantage of lots of opportunities and send them your way. Or you can continue in level 1, but then that's support plus a nominal fee. So when you get to that point, then we would talk to you about that. Level 2 is for a fast track for high potential companies. So some people might skip startup 1 altogether and go right into startup 2. It has all the features of level 1, but you also are provided with 2 hours of fully funded one-on-one support with a qualified mentor. And you get access to projects, which we call our boost projects. And you can see the list: media, pitch coaching, marketing communications, finance, e-commerce, social media. But you get $500 off on these projects. So you can have, and you get 3 projects within 24 months, and you can save $1,500. So that's the level 2 startup. And we have a number of companies that have come through our level 2 and moved on to other programming and gone into revenue, made revenue from pre-revenue to revenue. This is just an example of some of the clients that have come through our startup program. You may have recognized some of them, and some of them have moved on, as I said, have moved on to other programming or have become revenue positive and are doing quite well. Here are some more, like I think of Lucky Iron Fish, who started with us, and now they're doing super well. So this is just an example of some of the companies we've worked with or are still working with. So a little bit about our Fastlane program, and this model is kind of unique, and we see it in some of our other programming as well. But Fastlane was designed uniquely for companies that are doing over $1 million. So we found, we're in our 9th year with this program, and we found that there were a lot of companies that weren't getting the support because they were over $1 million, because our startup and accelerators are all $1 million or less. So this is for small, medium enterprise companies who are looking to scale their businesses, who have challenges to do that. So the kind of prerequisites for this, again, we have to be in connection with the decision makers, the owners, the CEOs. You have to be the company has to be generating $1 million or more in annual recurring revenue. And they have to be business growth oriented. So they've got momentum, they're scaling, and they need support, because everybody needs support as they scale. And a coachable team, because companies that have made it this far, they don't know what they don't know. So it's we're bringing in specialists to look for gaps, to look for opportunities, and they have to be open to another pair of eyes coming in. So how do they apply? Again, it could be a discussion with the program manager, or complete an intake form on our website. Excuse me. So how does it work? It's a 2-phase program. It starts with what we call a diagnostic. We match the company up with a generalist, and that mentor works up to 15 hours with the company, fully funded, to do a deep dive into the company and look for those biggest opportunities for growth. And at the end of that, they get recommendations, very collaborative approach. They get recommendations for high impact, high return type of projects that can be done to accelerate the company past any challenges or take advantage of those opportunities. And if the company decides to move forward, because they don't have to, some don't, but if they decide they want to move forward, then they move into a project phase. And that project phase, they work with one specialist or a team of specialists from Innovation Guelph, and we have, again, a lot of expertise, to work on the challenges that were identified in the diagnostic. They receive a subsidy. So this year, the subsidy is, it can change from year to year, it's just how funders work. But this year, it's up to $8,000 available for a subsidy for approved projects, and a client contributes $2,500. So up to $8,000. So if they maximize that, they have to put a contribution of $2,500, and they get about probably about 70 hours of work, which is great project work. The success of this program is based on implementation and execution. And all the project work that we do at Innovation Guelph is about implementation and execution. So we actually have people who roll up their sleeves and do work for the company. So just to give you an idea, over the last, well, we're in our 9th year, so the numbers are changing a little bit, but we've supported almost 400 companies and through the diagnostic stage. About 200 companies or so have gone through projects with us in this program. The average revenue year over year is usually around 3.5 to 4 million. Sometimes we have much higher, but generally it's between 1 and 10. Again, 50 plus industry specialists who work on the projects. We evaluate them at the end of every part of the process, and we have a 95% client satisfaction with it. Because as a company or as an organization, we measure women-led. So 42% last year of the companies that went through even Fastlane were women-led companies. So this is just an example of some of the companies that we've worked with through our Fastlane program. So you may recognize some of these companies, some you may not. You can see Lucky Iron Fish. So Lucky Iron Fish actually went through startup, and now they're over 1 million. So we were able to help them in other programming. So again, I said that there was a caveat because we have other programming to support companies. Those are our core programs that we've had for a number of years. But through our RISE programming, we've been able to right now have 2 programs under the RISE banner supporting women entrepreneurs. One is Rise Up. Rise Up is a national accelerator. It works with companies across the country who are women-founded or co-founded or led. The program builds on all the success we've had of our RISE programming, and they do project work as well. So that is tailor-made to support their needs. RISE Ventures is one of our, all the other programs are not cohort-based. RISE Ventures is a cohort-based program. And that is, we're just starting or in the middle of our 3rd cohort with RISE Ventures. It's custom designed for women entrepreneurs again, and it's a balance of in-class working, it's practical hands-on project work, it's mentorship, peer-to-peer networking, and of course, inspiration to push the boundaries and accelerate those companies. So RISE Ventures, again, in our 3rd cohort, so that's an open close type of a thing, but we're very proud of that program. The other one is the CFEI Hub. So our food future and the circular food economy in Guelph. Innovation Guelph leads the iHub that links multiple businesses support to organizations in the Guelph-Wellington area. And looking at businesses and collaborations that contribute to a circular food economy. And we'll talk about that as we go. We'll go through each of these programs. So just a little bit about RISE. This is, I think, our 8th year supporting women entrepreneurs. I'm pretty sure. So Innovation Guelph originally started with a project that took a look at women entrepreneurs and what challenges they were having in moving their businesses forward. So we launched in 2013, and we were able to reach more than 1,700 local women at various ages and stages of their business development. But out of that whole process, we were able to really develop a very holistic approach to supporting women entrepreneurs, building on hard business skills, also increasing confidence, leadership skills, and work-life balance. And we've had different programs over time. But right now, of course, we've got Rise Up and Rise Ventures. So I'll go through Rise Up. Rise Up is an accelerator, but it's for scaling companies, and it is a national program. So it's a national accelerator that addresses the unique aspects of women and founded and co-founded companies. It builds on all of the holistic approach that we already have to Rise Up. Now, this is for scaling companies, so we are looking at a minimum of 200,000 in revenue. And the reason why we did that is because we know that there is a point at which, particularly with food companies and other companies that a lot of women are a part of, and I don't want to stereotype because women are involved in all kinds of companies, but there is a point where they seem to stall. And the stalling has to do with all of the things that we talked about and we've researched and we all kind of know about women-owned companies. So we wanted to be able to take companies that were post revenue, like actually making revenue at 200,000 and be able to scale them forward. So the eligible companies receive $5,000 to $10,000 worth of support for scale up and business services. And it also includes fully funded one-on-one leadership coaching sessions over about a 6-month period. So not only does the woman founded co-founder, CEO, whoever that person is, or led company, that individual gets one-on-one coaching in leadership skills. So again, this is modeled very much after Fastlane because of the success of Fastlane. So there is a discovery phase, again, where they receive up to 15 hours of mentorship to help identify what the opportunities are and what other options are for growth. And at the end of that, they receive recommendations for project work that can be done to accelerate them. The second phase is just different names, but it's also a project phase, or the traction phase, we call it. The company gets access to project funding in a subsidy of up to $5,000. And if they maximize that $5,000, the company puts in $1,000 and they can do project work with our industry specialists in that execution and implementation of project work. It's a very successful program. We have right now, we've been servicing, BC, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Quebec, I'm trying to remember all of them, Alberta, and of course in Ontario. But it's a great opportunity to network also with, business owners from across the country. Rise Ventures is our cohort-based program. It's 6 months of courses, 8 weeks of project work. It's a very, very fulsome program, and it's I think the next cohort is opening up the beginning of February, around there. It's custom designed and a balance of, as I mentioned, peer-to-peer, in-class learning, mentorship, networking, in order for owners to push their business to the next level. And these are our project partners, and you can see the Business Center is one of them, but it's multiple partners in this program, which is why we've been able to support so many companies in each cohort. So Rise Ventures, without repeating too much, is 8 months of part-time classes. So it's basically twice a month. It is a commitment, but it's an awesome commitment, because coming out of it, you'll be that much growth as an individual as well as a business. Group mentorship, and the mentors are matched very carefully to support the personal development of that particular owner. There's the hands-on project work. So you saw that whole model of Fastlane is in the middle of this project as well. You get a diagnostic and some project work to move your business forward. And there's networks that can be built, networking to build oh my goodness, I've just lost my language. To build networks, networking with other people, and attending programming networking events. And if you go through this whole process, then you also have an opportunity to pitch for money and investment at the end of it. So it's a very fulsome, excellent program to support women entrepreneurs. This is where I said there was a caveat, because Innovation Guelph works with scalable businesses, but of course we've got 3 streams in this particular program. One is a small business stream that does focus on local and service and product focus and new and established businesses. There is the scalable business stream that is a focus on STEM, agri-innovation, and clean tech. They have to be growth oriented and looking at exporting. And then there's a social enterprise stream. So new and established businesses that's local, regional. They want to go to local, regional, or global markets, and they're committed to using their business to solve a social or an environmental problem. Again, if when the cohort is open, again, I think it's the beginning of February, you can go to our website and you can apply for it. Just look up Rise Ventures and apply, or you can, I think there's a name on there. You can sign up for our newsletter. It'll come out and tell you when it's going to be open. Or I think there's even a name on the website that you can contact, and they'll put you on a list and let you know when it's opened up as well. So the iHub and our food future, if you haven't heard of this, it's part of Guelph and the city of Guelph and numerous partners through the Smart Cities initiative. Innovation Guelph. I'm not going to go into too much detail about these two, and I'll explain why in a moment. But our food future is about becoming Canada's first technology-enabled circular food economy. So it's about eliminating waste. It's about reorganization and regenerative systems that feed us, and sharing economic prosperity and nourishing communities. And the CFE iHub supports the creation of new businesses and collaborations that contribute to a circular food economy through circular food solutions. So COIL is the Circular Opportunity Innovation Launchpad. And COIL is a continuation of the circular food economy work that was originally being done and launched through our food future, the city of Guelph and other collaborators. And it's an innovation program, an innovative program and platform to improve, scale solutions towards a more sustainable and circular economy. And we are actually, this is also a cohort-based program. We just finished our intake on the first cohort, excited to say, and it is actually the first cohort is starting on Monday, the 18th of October. So we're really excited. And there's education, world-class education. There's mentorship. It's just an awesome program. And I think, and there's seed funding involved as well. So it's, but again, I'm not going to get into too much detail about it because you can actually look at it yourself on October 6th, Paige, previously, just this past October 6th, Paige Prue, who is the CFE iHub City Connector at Innovation Guelph, and for the CFE iHub, or sorry, the Circular Food Economy, actually did a presentation through Bridges to Better Business here, and you can go and you can see the recording of all the details that are involved with this particular program.
I put the link for those who are in attendance in the chat. You can also find that workshop on our YouTube channel for the Business Center Guelph-Wellington.
Excellent, thanks, Angela. Part of what we also manage and support companies with is the Resource Exchange. And the Resource Exchange is very cool. It's a business-to-business marketplace. And I believe Paige also talked about this in greater detail. But it's very cool because companies that do have either waste in their process, waste in their manufacturing, or waste in whatever that they do, food waste, think potato skins in a restaurant, or that kind of thing, or oil or water waste in a process that they have. They can actually join this resource exchange, and they can use it to create revenue. So they can put it out there. I've got this waste. Somebody else needs that waste. They buy that waste. Or the other way around, somebody's looking for a particular product or something that they need that they can use. I think of companies that use, I don't know, bugs to break down food scraps to create fertilizer. They're looking for food scraps. They might go to the Resource Exchange and find somebody who's selling food scraps. So it's a very cool marketplace that supports sustainability and circularity. So just some additional information about Innovation Guelph. Generally, to become a client, or generally to become a client, you would fill out an intake form. That's just part of the process that you have to do anywhere because we have funders we have to report to. But if you want to do startup or SME programming, even through COIL or through Rise Ventures, there's an intake form process. Forms are reviewed by the program manager for that particular program and their team. And then a discovery session would happen between the client and the program manager to see if there is a fit for the program. And if there isn't a fit for the program, what we generally do at Innovation Guelph is try to find the best fit. So I can only speak for myself, but I know this happens. I might get an intake form that's first. Well, let's say I'm managing Rise Up. I'll get a Rise Ventures intake form. So I'll send them to the right person, or perhaps they're ready for startup, or maybe they're not quite there in eligibility from a revenue perspective, or maybe they aren't ready for Innovation Guelph. So we would say we would work with the business center and send them there. So we do really try not to let people go. We try to find the best solution for them. But once you're approved as a client, then the program manager assigns a mentor. And the program begins, depending on which program it is. Obviously, cohorts work slightly differently, but that's basically how it works. We also don't let go of clients that easily either. So I'll just say that when you become an alumni, when you finish a program, it's not a beginning and end and see you. We kind of try our best to support that company to either go into another program at Innovation Guelph, another program in the community, or another program anywhere that supports them. We also continue to contact them. It's a fabulous ecosystem. You're already working in it now, I'm assuming. And you know that with the strategic introductions and the opportunities that come down that you probably wouldn't even have known about. It's a tremendous ecosystem to support companies. Innovation Guelph also has free networking and educational events. So you can follow us on social media. You can sign up for our newsletter, and you're more than welcome to join us at our different events. For example, we have every other month what we call a Toolkit Tuesday. It's a lunch and learn. Hopefully, eventually we'll be in person again and we'll actually have pizza again, but right now it's virtual. That I think the next one is, I'm sorry, I think it's in November. I'm sorry, I'm pretty sure it's November. We also have upcoming on the 21st of October, which is next week, our third almost annual. We had a bit of a break, of course, like everybody last year, but it's our Innovation Expo. It's generally been in person. This year it is going to be virtual, but it is an awesome virtual platform. So keynote speakers will have Peter Katz and JB the Wizard. We're going to have fabulous panel discussions and 100 booths featuring amazing companies of all sizes and sectors. And when I say about the platform, it's a 3D platform that makes you feel like you're right there. You create an avatar, you can go into rooms, you can walk up to a booth. It's just a really cool platform, and it's free. So if you want to see what we do at Innovation Guelph, you can sign up at the Ontario Innovation Expo.ca, and you can join for the day and join us there. And also, starting in November, we're going to have a series of workshops on mental resilience for entrepreneurs, tips from CEOs and pros, we're calling it. The first one is November 19th. Where we're going to feature a CEO who talks about the challenges that they've had as an entrepreneur. But then we're going to have a workshop with professionals who are going to actually provide the tools that you need, an interactive workshop to provide tools that entrepreneurs need to support them through resilience, through mental resilience as you're moving forward in your company. So that's going to be pretty exciting too. So those are just examples of the kind of things that we do provide at Innovation Guelph, and these are all free to attend. And that's Innovation Guelph in a nutshell. And that's it for me. And I really appreciate you listening and allowing me to take the time to go through what we can offer.